Are we good? All right. I'd like to call to order the town council meeting for October 23rd. Roll call, please, Debbie.
Councilmember Holgren, present. Councilmember Berwick-Now. Councilmember Knott. Here. Councilmember Oswald. Present. Mayor Foskey.
Here.
Quorum is established.
All right, we have a quorum. All right. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
to the republic stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a sign up sheet out there? Both speaking and if you would like to speak, makes it easier to put your name on the sign up sheet, please. On to approving the minutes from the September 25th, 2023 meeting. Do we have a motion to accept those minutes? Second?
Second,
Thank you. Okay, discussion or corrections to the minutes now?
I just wanted to check to make sure Debbie got my corrections.
And Mr. Temple just brought to my attention that I omitted his public comment. So I will get that entered before I post to find that approved minute.
Okay.
And there were some other,
Everybody
Changes.
email me, I correct.
okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comments about the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carries unanimously. All right, we have no public hearings tonight. No public presentations. No council actions scheduled. No vote and council discussion. First item is the VDOT Ready, Set, Go grant. Matt, give us some information on that.
A Ready, Set, Go grant is a grant offered by VDOT to prepare the engineering work and cost estimates for a final application to the TAP grant, and TAP stands for Transportation's Alternatives Program. TAP normally does things like bike paths and sidewalks. So the application I mentioned a couple weeks ago was, I'm going to say 3 years, but I'm not exactly sure when. Main Street came forward and wanted to and suggested putting a sidewalk from the Queen Street driveway on Ames up to the corner of Ames and Market alongside the new mural. So we went through and a couple folks didn't really see the impact or the need for it. And whether I'm an opponent or proponent or not, doesn't matter. So what I did was I included, first of all, the details of what the grant covers in the packet. Then I took pictures. One is an overhead Google Earth of the length of the sidewalk. It's basically 116 feet. I talked with Dale and VDOT, and he confirmed that the right-of-way on Ames is 48 feet from the west side of the sidewalk on the farmer's market side. Okay, so if you start at the sidewalk on the farmer's market side and go 48 feet to the east, that's how wide the right-of-way is. The sidewalk would need to be inside that right-of-way at 5 feet with a 2-degree pitch towards the street and then the curb. So I just use 6 feet. So if you go 48 feet across and then pull 6 feet back, that's what these pictures represent. The curb, the cones would be the curbs in the new location.
Debbie, can you put
So-
those pictures up on the screen?
I can, he
Thank you.
says, hopefully. Okay, that's the 116 feet length of the sidewalk. You can see that it just basically goes from the driveway through up to the sidewalk on Market. And then this is the cones I was talking about, so this would be 48 feet from the cone goes, I'm sorry, 48 feet from the curb over to the sidewalk is where the current right of way is. We would need 6 feet of that. So the question is, you know, can people still do the U-turn while they're parked at the post office and things like that?
It's a big thing.
Well, that's it.
Hey,
It used to be illegal. Huh?
We asked for it and they said they made it legal.
From the post office, this is that view. I did a U-turn in my truck and did knock over the cone. Then I picked up the cones. So that's what this sidewalk would look like. So I didn't want anybody to think it was gonna, you know, cut the road in half or anything like that. Now, in the town plan, you're gonna see some more decorative corners on that.
Yeah.
So this is what would be the minimum if we were to take some of Hill Studios suggestions. It would still have the sidewalk, but it would put, you know, a corner with a plant on it, a tree or something like that. So.
Matt,
Yeah.
did you say when you started your comments that there was not much interest from the council?
Yes,
Okay, right. I just want to say that connecting that parking lot to Market Street is what that sidewalk would do. And the theater and the children that go to that theater and their parents that take them day and night would benefit and be safer for it.
the comment that I got in reply to that statement is that those families and children could use the alleyway between the corner bakery and the new Welcome Center.
They could.
They could,
They could, but nobody's walking all the way that way if you're parked on this side.
The problem is,
I'm just saying.
we don't own the
Okay.
property all the way. Yeah, we don't own the property. They'd have to cross private property there. We don't own the right of way, the property all the way back. Yeah.
On the alley.
No, between the bakery and our building we purchased, we don't own all the way back to the parking lot.
Well,
Uh,
this,
Okay.
The Littleton
But-
I'm talking, this is a different, I'm
Yeah.
saying, so the Littleton building owns goes across the back of our bathroom property.
yeah, but
So we,
that's not where,
I know that. I'm just saying they're saying people we can use that, but we don't have that, we don't have,
It's not town.
it's not town property. Yeah, this
Yeah.
one would be
This would be
VDOT
town.
or state property. Yeah.
Okay.
right.
questions. It looks as though the drawing that you have ends at the driveway at the back of the theater and still leaves a gap between that driveway and the actual entrance to Queen Street. Is
Yeah,
that,
let me take a quick look and see if I've got a picture of the overhead. This overhead right here shows, I think what you're talking about, this driveway here.
yes,
This parcel here is wide enough for us to put a sidewalk in. So we could put the sidewalk through here and then start it up over here. That was the concept. I don't have to change this curb cut here. I would just start in here and then connect to this sidewalk there. Does that make sense?
yeah, as long as you're not going to leave that little strip out.
No, I'm not.
Okay. And then the other question was whether there was consideration to putting the sidewalk on the strip of grass that you showed in the photograph with the cones. Or if the slope of that,
Here?
yes,
Because I only have 48 feet from the edge of this sidewalk, I have to stay inside it. This is right around here. So this is give or take 6 feet.
So the theater owns the green.
Yeah, this parcel of ground is not inside the VDOT right of way for Ames Street.
okay. So that's not available.
So what, you don't have the Hill Studio was present, they had a little bump out and I can't remember what that looked like. Is it,
I don't have it with me.
Yeah, and then my other question is what kind of adaptation it would take to go, and I think you sort of addressed it, but how much redoing would it take to go from this sidewalk to what they suggested with the reconfiguring of that corner?
Yeah, basically what that would look like. See if I can. No, Basically, what it does is it takes this up here and then does a bump out right here to the other side of the sidewalk, so it would match the curb on Market. And then inside here would be a tree or ground plantings or, whatever.
Okay, so the sidewalk would
The sidewalk.
essentially be able to stay.
Yes.
Okay.
It would be nice if we made the decision about that bump out before or while we were doing this engineering work.
That's what I was wondering, if we're not aligning, why aren't we aligning this with the overall plan?
Yeah, this is at this point, if you folks say, no, I'm not interested, then that's why.
Well, are we interested in putting first of all, everybody want to put a sidewalk there?
Yes.
I think
We're all on board
Mavis
with that.
makes. a good
Okay,
point.
so which plan do you want, do you need is there like a conceptual drawing you can come up with both plans and we look at it, or?
For
uh,
the bump out and the regular sidewalk.
Yeah, something you wouldn't have to go to Hills with, or, without, you wouldn't have to go to VDOT.
I have the hill design that I can email with no issue. I just don't have.
So we just have to apply, do we have to vote on this to apply for the grant, or,
No, you have to just let me know that you want me to apply for the grant.
and you can send, and so,
Yeah, and remember, it does not pay anything toward the project itself. It's just the engineering.
right.
So they'll do all of the engineering, any utility movements,
And then we'd have to wait for Todd grant or whatever it is, or pay for it
Tap,
ourselves,
tap,
tap, or, yeah.
Could I ask?
Are these two comments not conflicting? The town will be required to contribute 20% of the cost of the project grant is awarded, or that should be if awarded.
we have to understand, if you apply for this grant, there's no cost whatsoever for
For the
us.
application,
But then, if, for anything, there's no cost for application or for the work product that they generate.
This is only the
if-
engineering of that
Right.
project.
If they give you that and you say, yes, I'd still like to pursue this project, at that point, you have to recognize that you're gonna write a check for 20% of the project cost.
And we have no idea what that's going to be.
That's why we do the engineering and. the
Right,
cost.
and we would know then. All right.
I have a question about how it would affect the crosswalk. Because that's one of the spots identified for a crosswalk.
Yeah, if you.
That's,
um,
well, that's why Hill wanted to do it. He wanted to make it narrower so the crosswalk would be more shorter and more safer. Yeah, that's a lot of pavement to cross. Yeah.
The crosswalk's across Market.
Well, no, there's one across there as well. Yeah, wasn't there? Oh, yeah.
It's hard to tell,
I thought, yeah,
circle.
yeah, I think he was trying to narrow the road down just to make it more pedestrian friendly.
but as long as we can still make the U-turn.
Well, I think the U-turn is dangerous personally, but that's,
Well, remember, it was illegal.
I know
Then
that, that's why-
Then VDOT came back and said, there were a whole bunch of people who said, myself included, who said, I like it there, and we got it back.
Let me just see if I can get
I
this.
thought it was illegal to make a U-turn in the street anyway.
Okay, so this is the drawing that Hill put together for where the crosswalks would ideally go. I think we should include this, if they'll allow it, in this Ready, Set, Go grant, because it'll tell us what we will need to do and pay for the crosswalks. I would even suggest that if they say, no, you can't put them both in one application, that we apply for two. So, but this shows where the crosswalks are, the blue circles are intersection crosswalks. And then the blue rectangles are mid-block crosswalks. One of the things that I had mentioned to David Hill was that we stopped right up by Holly and didn't continue crosswalks beyond that all the way up to, Hartman and whatnot. He's still under the impression that there's going to be a road diet from Hill up to Fairgrounds. So the road diet would have the legally required crosswalks in it. So that's why he stopped there. I didn't want anybody to think he forgot. So those areas are what we're talking about. There are, I believe, 12 proposed crosswalks. So that's what I would like to include in either a fresh application or alongside in this application.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think it's great.
So can we only include one sidewalk in this?
No,
Thing.
you can put as many as you want, to be quite frank with you. So if there are other places that you wanted to put sidewalks, this is a perfect time to ask.
I would like us to consider a sidewalk between Hill Street at the corner mart to Hall Street at the car wash. That's on the southbound side of Market Street. It's a busy street. We have a lot of pedestrians that walk along that section to get to the corner mart. And I'm often seeing people on the road. So that's somewhere that I think we should study as well.
Is there one on the other side of the road?
There is,
not
but
on that side.
Human nature, people use
Yeah.
the easiest path for them, which isn't necessarily the safest one.
Well,
Just like we're talking about one on one side of Ames Street and one on the other side of Ames Street right now. I don't think that argument makes a
no,
reason.
I just was just curious. Yeah. I guess it depends on right of way as well. Yeah.
Would that topic be addressed in the road diet plan?
Well, if we do get the road diet, yes, it's gonna have bike and pedestrian paths in the road, that they're gonna be pathways drawn in the road, because if you remember, that road diet takes it from 4 lanes coming into town to 1 way each way with a center turn lane, and then on the outside, it has bike and pedestrian lanes.
So the people would then
So-
be walking at least in the bike lane, but not still not,
Yeah,
yeah, not in the road. Yeah, but
Cautious about this road diet. I'm hearing a lot of talk about it.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's still ways off and I guess the index's gonna be.
So it would not be duplicating engineering, what you're saying?
No, if we get the road diet, it would have places
Right.
starting at Hill going east on the southbound and northbound side.
Right. So if the road diet's going to address pedestrian sidewalks, we don't need to pay for additional engineering to do the same thing.
That's correct.
Not pedestrian sidewalks from what I'm hearing, but a lane that's in the road designated for
Bikes.
bikes
Right.
and joggers or
Not-
something
not
of
a
that
sidewalk.
nature.
Well, and walkers, you get a fair number of people. It's definitely made for pedestrian and bike traffic. That's the purpose of that lane, those lanes.
So I want to go back to something that you said a minute ago. Are you saying that the chances of getting the road diet approved, is that by VDOT, are slimmer than was thought previously, or?
I think you're gonna start hearing people present arguments against it.
It was, I mean, it was approved by the 3 different council, 2 councils in the county, but there is, it's my understanding that they're going to be more public input into it before they
Okay.
actually do it. But it's still several years away. Yeah.
Not that many.
Yeah, that was 5. I guess it's getting, well, several, probably about 2 to 3 now, whenever they have to repave the road. Yeah. I'm just not clear about what public input they're going to get. I don't know. It's a little unclear.
I'm gonna say again, I'd like to see for that sidewalk there, I believe that sidewalks present a different feeling to the pedestrians and the people in the community than walking in a lane designated along the side of the road. It's just my feeling to that.
Council's take on that. I mean, there's a lot of places that need sidewalks in town, unfortunately. So,
It's worth asking.
yeah.
I'm
But I mean,
more
it's-
than happy to, these are, as far as applications go, these are very, very easy. I just have to do concept drawings and do a pretty quick narrative. So there's nothing that would keep us from applying for 3. And then they award the ones that best fit this year's strategic initiatives of the TAP grant.
Do we need more input into other areas in town or that need sidewalks? I mean, I don't know. The one extending Carr Street is being done with the Northeast project. So that was a bet, a one that I thought always needed to be done, but that's coming with Northeast project, correct?
That's
Carr Street extended, yeah.
Got a sidewalk going up Pine from Market up to, and this sounds silly, but it's as far as our budget will take us, up past the Armory.
Right.
We're trying to get it at least to Watson. And then there was right-of-way problems on Carr between Pine and Boundary.
Yeah, and,
So I believe that got removed.
oh, really? I know that was a problem before, but yeah, okay. All right. Oh, that's where I thought we needed it. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, council's, you know, input, council, you want to do? I mean, we're definitely going to do the one by the theater. What, are we going to do the original plan from Hill, submit that with a bump out, or just the regular?
I don't remember what the bump out looks like at all, but I'm just saying from these.
Well, he can send, yeah,
But this is safe and this looks good.
yeah. Well, he can send us some drawing, if you want to send us a couple, maybe better drawings of what they're planning on doing, a couple options, and then we can decide what we want to apply for. And then do we want to apply for the one out there on Market?
Is there a time frame on this too, Matt?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's coming up.
it's coming up quickly. Okay, so if we just go ahead and apply for this grant as it is, yeah, are there any modifications? Can you modify it in any midstream or anything?
I would say.
Or are you locked
any-
in?
Yeah, I would say any grant has the ability to make a change. Once it's awarded, we can say, as long as we're willing to pay for it,
Right.
we'd like to extend the curbing, in this direction.
Well, I move we go ahead and apply for the grant as you've got it.
So you are,
I made a motion. And so
Well, you didn't complete the grant. Okay.
I did.
What grant, well, are you going to add what Brandon put in, or just just vote on this one first?
Just on this one, just as we're.
We don't have to
where
vote on
we
it.
are. Okay, I thought we just needed a motion to Matt to go ahead with it, not,
We just need a
Fine.
verbal agreement that we're,
Instructions.
I withdraw.
is there I understand Brandon's concern, but he's just come up with one sidewalk. There might be 5 other in town that we need
We need to.
to
Well,
look at.
that's
Is
where he is right. For a lot of the
Yeah.
traffic for some of our marketing.
right, but is there, can you do a cursory exam if there's any other things that pop up? Like I said, the Carr Street one was the one that came to knowledge to me because we've been trying to put a sidewalk there for 30 years.
Right,
and-
there's a
and-
reason it got
And
bumped
again,
off.
and that's the same reason it got bumped off before. So that doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So that's fine. So do we want to put both of them in there now? And just, I mean, if you've come up with another
And then the sidewalks, I'm assuming.
I thought it didn't need a motion.
well, I know it doesn't. I'm not saying,
but
but
we need to give a consensus.
yeah. So,
to
and
Matt
could you
of what
do a
to do.
curse, if you find another third one, can you email us, something? Yeah,
Well, I've got Ames.
Yeah.
I've got Hilda Hall,
yeah,
and I've got this, I wrote sidewalks, crosswalks.
yeah.
Can you tell us where the crosswalks on Market Street will be? I can't really see from there.
I can
Uh.
try because it's pretty close up here too. There's one down at the Bagwell Bridge. There is one. Wow, this is really hard to read.
Looks like it's
Can I
on,
just shoot you, or I assume that's Priscilla?
It is.
Yeah,
Okay, where are you?
it looks like it's across from West Street.
Here.
Yeah, Priscilla, can I just take a copy of this for you and just write down what is on it? I can even, I can put it up on the website if everybody's interested, but it would just be a lot easier for me to see it with a piece of paper in front of me.
Okay, sure. I did
Okay.
see it on the online
Right?
and I still couldn't tell.
All right.
okay, I can take a swing at it if you'd like.
Yeah, please.
Okay, as Matt said, Bagwell Bridge and Market Street, so Mount Prospect Avenue and Market Street. Middle of the block, like in front of Robbie and Nicole's house. Crossing Market Street. Crossing Market Street at East Street and West Street, so at both sides of the town square. In front of sorry, it's still the House of Deals in my brain. At Ames Street and Market Street across from the post office. At North Street and Market Street. At King Street and North Street. At Queen Street and Market Street by the theater. And then there's, looks like one at the bank, the
Yeah.
open bank.
In front of Car Place?
Oh, okay, in front of Car Place. One
No, it's not
at
in front of Car Place.
College Avenue and Market Street. And one at Holly Street and Market Street. And that's the easternmost one because, as Matt said, the others were envisioned to happen with the other project.
Well, why is the mid one down there by, midway, down by the wharf? Why is that there?
That seems excessive.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't have to, we can pull some out if we,
Yeah.
it's not the end.
Yes, we can pull some out.
It seems like some of these mid ones are a little, that one's kind of excessive, I think. And I wondered whether we need two at the town park.
Yeah.
There's no sidewalk on the other side. Is that,
It would depend if it was just going
well, it,
along the one side where the sidewalk.
yeah, but the circle says it's on both, the circle says both, I think. I don't know what that means, actually. Does that mean there's a crosswalk on both roads?
I think that's just saying that it's actually at an intersection.
Oh,
where
okay.
These other ones are.
So we have to decide where it's going to be at that intersection. Yeah. Okay, well,
The-
we don't have to, I think we're beating a dead horse here. Let's, yeah,
We can just say
Yeah.
that, I could pursue the Ready, Set, Go grant for the
Yeah.
crosswalks.
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Any other comments, we're all right on that? Okay. All right.
So
He's going to send us some drawings, of the Hill Street, what the Hill came up with, drawings of the Ames Street intersection, and then he's going to, we agreed on the one on Market Street, and then if you come up with another one, you're going to send us an email about it.
so where are we at on Market Street between Hill and
It-
Hall?
It is, it's going in. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Sidewalks and crosswalks.
Well, crosswalks are, well, that's going to be part of the, if they do that street thing, so we don't know. They're not marked on our map here. Yeah. It doesn't even go out that far.
If we change the curve, they'll change the crosswalk at Ames.
All right. All right, okay, next item is the Habitat for Humanity presentation or not discussion.
Sure. Back in 2019, the town purchased for about $2,000 property that was blighted and derelict. The house was raised at that point, and we've been proud owners of it since then. It's been on the market for 2.25 years and has had zero interest. We were chatting with Chris from Habitat for Humanity, and he talked about that organization's desire to come to Onancock because of because of water and sewer. There aren't that many places on the shore that can perk a septic system anymore, and quite frankly, septic's not all that great for our bay. So they're interested in coming to town. I told him that we had this property. He submitted drawings for it. He and I walked the property. We measured setbacks. Everything would fit perfectly without any variance or adjustment. So then the conversation came to how would they obtain the property to build this house? And it's one of two ways. Either we donate it to the organization or we sell it to the organization. So I talked with our attorney, and both processes are exactly the same. We would have to go through everything that's required for the sale. Whether we sell it for zero or sell it for $100,000. My recommendation is that we donate the property to Habitat for Humanity, but keep the newly increased sewer and water connections at retail. That would be $6,400.
69.
69, sorry.
All right,
I also put a couple of caveats in his contract to say that once they get a building permit, they have to break ground within 12 months, and they have to be complete within 120 days of that. We didn't want it to be idle for too long. With the other properties that are part of the Northeast revitalization program that are being demoed, Habitat could have a conversation with the owners of those properties, and they're interested in putting more houses in Hancock, and those would be perfect spots for them.
So you have no, so they would have to break ground so many days after they get a building permit.
Yeah,
So they could sit for a couple of years before they get a building permit.
no, they have to get it within 12, they require a building permit within 12 months.
Oh, okay, I didn't, yeah, okay. I mean, I know they have a process with houses they line up, so I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it that quick. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he and I talked. and he
That's
said
okay.
12 was very reasonable.
Okay, okay, all right. All right, we have comments about this? or-
The one question I had is the reference to 3 parcels. I wasn't quite sure how that broke down.
Yeah, let me see if I can squeeze.
Page
that.
26, I think, is what may show it, but I still couldn't interpret.
Packet was so big this month because of the pictures that I couldn't send it all in one.
Are these normal, or regular lot sizes?
They're small.
They're small.
Okay,
And that's one of the
And
things
don't
that
you
I
have to
asked the
do
attorney.
something?
Yeah, was, our code requires a 10,000 square foot lot in order to build.
Right,
This is 8,800 and that includes all 3. I'm gonna show on the screen where it shows the 8,700. This includes all 3 lots. So down the side here is 1, that's number 2, and then number 3 is over here. So 1, 2, 3 is 1, 2, 3.
I think the next page has a line drawing that Maybe
one's got. I think, did I put another one in here?
Yeah.
That's the house. All right, let me see if I can flip this.
Well, is there an issue with the lots? I mean, we're just selling.
No,
them.
I just was trying to
Yeah.
understand.
Now,
Okay.
They may need a variance because of the size
That's what
of
I'm
the
asking.
Yeah.
building parcel. There's no issue as far as they're concerned, and even if they didn't get the other 2, it could fit, but.
Okay,
Okay.
so they're still talking about building one house on the,
Yes.
Right,
one
okay, right.
house.
okay, on the 3 lots, yeah. In interest can I have a motion that we do something, we can have discussion after, according to Roberts, we're supposed to have a motion before we have discussion. So let's let somebody make a motion about what they want to do with the property, with your,
I move that we donate the property to Habitat for Humanity.
thank you.
Second,
Okay, now discussion. Maybe we finished it up, but yeah, we should have a motion on the floor to have discussion. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so we'll have to have a public hearing next
Okay,
meeting.
I'll start the ball rolling.
Okay. Would be a November public hearing. Yeah, November, yeah, it'd be November.
That's when we would have the hearing.
Yeah, right. And then we have to wait, don't we have to have a timeframe, and that it has to be 5, does a donation have to be 4?
He said it's exactly the same.
Oh, we have to have-
State.
Okay. So we have to have 5 of us have to vote for it. 5 of you have to vote for it. Yeah, okay. Thank you. All right. All righty. Next item on the agenda is Personnel Committee. Cindy Holden.
Yes, we did meet this month and presented the town manager's evaluation to him. And of course, he passed, as you see him sitting there. So cheers for that. And we plan to meet again in November.
Okay, any questions for the Personnel Committee? All right.
who's on the Personnel Committee?
Cindy, myself, and Matt. And there's supposed to be a 3rd person, but we haven't. Well, we need to appoint somebody probably.
She came to some meetings and
She
then,
just resigned, yeah. Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So after the special election, we'll appoint somebody. Yeah. I mean, it's up, if council wants to appoint another person, that's fine. Anybody?
Greg wants to do it.
I don't think so. I didn't think we had anybody that was interested. Yeah. If anybody's interested, let me know. Anybody will be on the Personnel Committee? Okay, forever hold your peace. Okay, on Hancock Main Street, Cindy again.
yep, I wanted to give you some information, which I put at each of your chairs about the funding for the Main Street mural project. One thing that's important to note is that these funds are only available for designated Virginia Main Street communities. These are not funds that the Department of Housing and Community Development just hand out to the towns because they're sitting there. There's a great deal of work that goes into these projects, and of course, most of it is behind the scenes and no one ever really sees all that work. But the first mural project, you can see, had the two murals, one at North Street, on North Street, the alley behind the Charlotte Hotel, and then 39 Market Street, the second story of the Crockett Building. That was funded totally through grant funding. There's no town money in that phase. And that funding was $10,000 for those two murals. The second phase is the one on Ames Street on the North Street Playhouse. That was part of a $37,500 grant that funded several projects. 25,000 was from Virginia Main Street and required a match of 12.5 from the town. So just for the mural, the funding, as you can see, was $13,333.33 for VMS. So that's coming from the state through Main Street, and the town portion was $6,666.67. That's for a total of $20,000 in that mural fund, phase 2. At the bottom, you can see the value of the hours that go into these projects. And I'm going to give you the total. I'm not going to read all the breakdowns, but the total added value from both the staff time as well as volunteer time is $16,302. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah,
Looking
how
at-
do you come up with the $31.80 per hour on volunteerism
That's
rate?
the Virginia DHCD rate that they tell us to use,
DHCD.
Department of Housing and Community Development.
It's a state
They
rate.
set the rate. We don't.
Okay, well, I understand. I just wanted to know. And I think everybody should.
Sure.
Thank you.
The murals look great. Thank you. On the phase 2, do we have 17,500 left over for murals, or did that portion go to the other projects that you referenced?
Yes, it went to other projects.
So all of the funds have been utilized
have
or
been
allocated
committed,
to
yeah.
be utilized? Okay.
Yeah. We did apply for additional funding for another phase, but we didn't receive it through the Downtown Improvement Grant. Unfortunately, didn't get it.
Okay, any questions about the Main Street, anything else for Main Street? Okay, thank you. Planning Commission, Brandon? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped you. God. Sarah, Historic and Hancock School.
Several events coming up. The first one is Wine Wednesday, next Wednesday, the 1st from 5 to 7. Then got them written down out of order. So on the 10th, which is Friday, 2 weeks, from 6 to 8, there's an opening reception from paintings done in a Virginia Land Trust, Virginia Eastern Shore Land Trust plein air event about a month ago. So that's just the exhibition opening. And then the Sunday of that weekend, the 12th of November, is the Champagne and Oyster dinner and event. So hope everybody can come to that. This past weekend, there was an official grand opening to the memorabilia exhibitions, and a lot of alumni came, a lot of other people came. The school looked great, and the new display that they've created is fabulous. As far as the pavilion, there's a sort of a regrouping to do a phased plan to try to get something usable that won't be the full design, but that will make it so that it can be used. And the engineers or contractors are working on that, and they're at the meeting, possibly at the meeting later this week. We may get more details, but the timing of that's not sure.
Any questions or Sarah, about the school? Yeah.
I appreciate the event promotions, but I'm also interested in what's going on with the board. As our representative on the board, are there, the last part of what you just said gave me some idea about that, but are there other things that the school is working on that we should know about as the council and you're representing us?
Planning new members as a couple of people are rolling off. That's still in the works, so it's not quite announceable yet. And those have been the major things.
Isn't there a new assistant? That's the Joni?
Yeah,
You
she's
talked
been
about-
there for
you
a
talked about
while.
her- you talked about her.
Chris Walker
Yeah,
has
right.
been working as assistant to Joni for several months, and I may not have mentioned that, but anyway, she's learning the ropes.
Take over the reins? Planning? I mean, I just want to know
That's, I think
as
that's,
much as you know.
I think that's a hope.
Okay.
They're feeling it out to see how that will go.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Sarah about the school? Okay, now Planning Commission, Brandon?
Yes, so our meeting in October was canceled to give us a chance to evaluate how to move forward. Our next meeting will be on the 6th at 5:30. And we'll just be looking at the general zoning to decide what to address next.
Okay. Any questions? What's there? Waterfront, we didn't meet, we didn't meet. Is there update on the wharf's closing, at end of this week, correct?
Yeah, we're closing on Halloween and we will not be selling fuel during the winter.
Okay. All right, any questions about the, if you can ask Matt at the manager's report if you have further questions about that. Economic development, Joy is not here. She sent me a report. I'm just going to read that out. If it's okay with, it's in a pretty good report here about that. They had their first meeting, they held their first Economic Development Authority, had their first meeting on 10/17/23. Their first job with the elected officers, and they were sworn in. The chairman is Katie Schwab. The vice chair is Bill Chandler, secretary Joy Marino. Jake Dillon, Rosemary Papero, and Katie Schwab will serve 4-year terms. Steve Johnson, Jeffrey Verneeb, and Bill Chandler will serve 2 years. Joy Marino will serve 3 years congruent with her current council term. Eric Gregory, town attorney with Hefty, Wiley & Gore, will be contacted to provide FOIA and COIA training for the members of the thing. The future meeting dates at 6 p.m. are November 21st and December 19th. Bylaws of King William County and Fredericksburg, Virginia are currently being reviewed and will then have the attorney approval followed by adoption of town council. So they're working on the bylaws. Strategic plan will be developed with input from existing EDAs, businesses in town, comprehensive plan, town plan from Hill Studios and an Hancock Main Street. Existing projects update. Littleton Building awaiting on approval from developer a performance agreement stating 18 months completion. PSPLL has $1 million loan and is putting up $800,000. 20 Market Street as a consultant and deadline for submission is in 10 days. Wise Drug Store went through planning process but was not approved due to increased competition. So they applied for the grant and we were denied. New opportunities in 20 years with the repayment of 20 and 40 Market Street, $2 million plus interest will be available for downtown major projects defined as College Avenue to the Wharf. EDA can approve separate uptown projects with grant funding. Funds from IRF are transferred from the state to EDA and then EDA transfers to the developer. And that's all she has. I think that's it. All right, any, I can't answer any questions about the EDA. Matt probably can, so. Any questions? Okay. All right, I'm sorry.
Would it be possible for us to get a written copy of those?
Sure,
minutes?
did she send one to you? She said she
Yeah,
did.
those are the minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
I can send the minutes around.
yeah, is there another, there's any other report that was pretty much what happened, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I think a couple people, council were there, weren't they? Yeah. Yeah. All right, public comment time. Okay. Rosemary, you're number one.
It occurred to
Could
me.
you state your
as-
name for the record?
Oh, it's Rosemary Popero, 9 Hollis.
You don't have to give
Street.
your address, just tell us you live in a town.
I'm s-
Okay.
I'm so used to
Our
that.
council said, our counselor said, do not give your address because that's a
Okay.
personal, just
Okay.
say you live in town or not. Thank
I'm
you
in town.
for future people. Yeah.
Okay. It occurred to me at the EDA meeting that there's always reference to different master plans that were done by the town over the years and also different studies, Hill Street Studio studies, studies that were done. As a matter of fact, Janet came by today with some studies that Main Street did. And I'm thinking that it might be possible for the town to collect all those studies, have them digitized, put them on the town website so that they can be archived for everybody's reference. You know, as it is now, it seems to me that if somebody moves out of town or the studies are somehow misfiled, they sort of get lost in the mist of time. And I think that it would just be a very valuable resource for all citizens and certainly the town council and different people working in different organizations in the town if all of those studies were available to everyone. I think you can probably have somebody do that for, I don't know, what would it cost? $1,000, maybe $1,500. But I think that it would be very, very valuable.
Okay.
That's it.
I think that's something we could probably do. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Talia Taylor. She's right here. Yeah.
Good evening. How is everyone? I'm actually here not for a town issue, but I am running for Accomack County Clerk of Circuit Court. So I'm just getting out to each town to let everybody know who I am. This is a position that I have wanted for a few years now. And with Sammy retiring, I just knew it was my chance to go for it. I have a 25-year background in banking and in finance. I started as a teller at Farmers and Merchants and Only. I worked my way up and was a finance director at Midway Chevrolet in Pocomoke. In the last 9 years, I have been a senior mortgage loan officer in Only at Cornerstone Home Lending. When I'm not working, I do volunteer to the community as much as I can. I have been on the Riverside Auxiliary Hospital Ball Committee for the last 7 years, where I co-chaired that event for a few years. I'm the PTA treasurer at my children's school. My husband and I both volunteer at Central Accomack Little League and at ESO Arts Center. So I just come to you, ask for your support. Early voting started a while back and election day is November 7th. As I say, doesn't matter what day you vote, we just need everybody to get out and vote. So that's all I have. Any questions? That's easy.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Did you?
All right.
Thanks.
Thelma Gillespie.
Thelma Gillespie. I live here in Anancock. I just want to stand tonight to say thank you so very much for our playground. Yesterday, I got a chance to spend some time there with my great-grandchildren, and we had a ball. Unfortunately, the chips are not going to work. I had a little one to fall on yesterday, and of course, you know, the splinters and things, but thanks for the equipment.
Thank you. Has everybody seen the playground? Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah. Greg Feldhausen.
Good evening, everybody. Well, here I am again. I'll keep my comments as brief as possible. I'm aware that everyone here tonight is tired of hearing about the many issues concerning the HOS and the Performance Pavilion, but I feel that the following information is important. I've had the opportunity to meet with and discuss the pavilion issues with several of our community's longstanding citizens just over the past several days. They were all gracious and thanked me personally for the efforts put forth by the Onancock Residents Group. I had the pleasure of touring the historic Onancock School this past Saturday. Miss Cindy Downing was my tour guide. She was gracious. She showed me around the school building and reviewed the history of both the school and the land upon which it sits. I gained better understanding of this property's significance to both the former students and to our town. So I appreciate the time and the effort that she put into that. She's a dear person. That said, as you know, it is of historic value above all things. It is both one of our town's great assets and also potentially one of its greatest liabilities. It is my opinion that our town government is fully aware of this dichotomy and has chosen to allow the Friends to move forward with considerable efforts while tending to other town business. I don't hold any grudges for that. It's all been busy. Matt has worked hard. I appreciate that. We, as part of ORG, applaud the considerable work done by the Friends of Anacog School. And again, as I said, Ms. Downing pointed out just how decrepit the building was 15 years ago. So I fully appreciate the efforts that have been put into it. However, we must not forget the recent history when we go forward. The list of errors has been discussed at length, and I'm not going to go into that this evening. We have all worked to find a resolution. Though everyone is fatigued with the present situation, we must continue to establish some form of checks upon the future use of the proposed commercial performance pavilion. I still believe that the legal use of a special use permit will allow the FOS to go forward, protecting our community from possible mismanagement and risks to the public safety. It is not intended, nor should it prevent the FOS from going forward. It remains the obligation of our town council to protect and promote a safe community environment for ourselves and the future residents above all other considerations. Please take the time to establish clear guidelines upon which all of the parties can feel safe and protected. This is why you're in the office. I don't know the present status of the special use permit. I don't know if you all are going to continue to establish guidelines or safeguards, but I strongly wish that you would move forward with those procedures, however you choose to do it. Otherwise, all the efforts we have put in to try and reach compromises and make this community a better place will have been for naught. So please exert your authority and watch what the HOS and the Friends of Anacog School are doing for all of us. Thank you.
I pass.
Okay, that, any other public comment?
My name was on the list.
Oh, you still right? Yep. Yeah. 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 Mrs. Matthews, I'm sorry. Glad you raised your hand. Went right by you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hermaine Matthews, and I live here in Anacog. I come here this afternoon asking that a camera be placed on my street. I live in an area that was normally quiet, but it has been some shooting, and I was at home that night and 2 bullets came through my house. I work various hours. I work for Riverside during the day, and then I do private duty at night. Sometimes I don't get home till 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. Sometimes I have to leave early in the morning, like 4:45 or 5:45 to go to work. So I ask that as a citizen and a member of the Anacog community that you place a camera on my street.
Thank you. Matt, do you know where?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're looking at putting more cameras there. Okay. All righty. Any other public comment? Did I miss anybody? Thank you. Thank everyone for your comments. And that concludes the public comment. Mayor's report. I got a few items. I think everybody knows about the election coming up on the 7th of November. You can vote early. Please vote. We have a special election in town. The town council. I went to the VML mayor's conference the weekend before last. 2 days of the mayor's conference and then a couple of days of VML. Really good conference. A lot of stuff going on. You have a copy of the one of the speakers was talking about council manager relations. I gave each one of you a copy. It's a fairly long document, but it's just it just reiterates how council and managers city town should operate. Please, if you get a chance to read it. The other item I sent earlier, I guess I'll put that, we were talking about a code of ethics for the council to operate under. I sent you email about that. That's just a starting point. If we're interested in pursuing, we can look around and come up with some, maybe we can get somebody on council who'll be interested in looking around and finding some, some examples to, possibly that one or other ones to use. Is there interest in the council even to do some kind of code of ethics that we all sign? The one I sent around is fairly straightforward. Yeah. So, is there interest in that, or, most governing bodies have a code of ethics that they do, and I think we talked about it a few years ago, and nothing ever came of it.
The reason nothing came of it was because it was kind of redundant to what our oath is to.
Right.
So it's redundant to that.
Right.
That's why it was never passed before.
Right.
And if we follow what we're supposed to do as a council and the rules and regulations that we are supposed to follow,
Right.
you don't need a code of ethics on top of it.
Well, probably,
It's
Probably,
just kind of redundant. That's why it never got passed before.
but almost every other government organization, the state has one, so, yeah, I know, I understand.
So if we're abiding by one, we would be abiding by the other, and.
Well, I think there's,
and-
I think,
and
yeah,
So, and there may be some. How we behave. Not
That's
to put
not
too fine a
ethics.
point on it,
That's not.
aspects to it.
well, there is in some, we can make it whatever document we want to, but is there interest in proceeding with this, or do we want to? Okay, is there a general interest in this?
I think it's a decent idea for us to at least examine it.
Yeah, I mean, the county has one that they operate under. We can pull theirs and look at that. So it's not, we're not reinventing the wheel here. So we don't need to do anything tonight. I just want to see if there's interest in proceeding with this. And then if there is, I don't know, whoever wants to get involved, we can look at it and come up with a document. Just let me know by email if you're interested, if you want to help research some and come up with something. Okay. All right. There was, I took a couple of classes at the VML about, FOIA and COIA, and we need to make sure that your FOIA training is updated. You're due every 2 years. So I don't know what your status is. I don't know if Matt has records of that. Yeah. So make sure that, you might check with Matt to make sure you're up to date. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're probably okay. You can do it online. You don't have to go anywhere to do it. So if you're not up to date, but we're legally required to do it every 2 years. And if you're not, the FOIA is freedom of information and COIA is conflict of interest if the public wants to know what that is. There was a seminar about recent court decisions about open meeting laws, and I think most of them didn't really have much to do with us, but there was a court case, Wheeler versus one of the municipalities in Northern Virginia, not a big one, but they had a long time ago, and they had the George Floyd incident. They have what's called a Citizens Advisory Committee that meets with the police department. So the Citizens Advisory Committee and the police chief got together at 2:00 that afternoon to see about plans for that evening because they were expecting some issues. And 3 or 4 council members attended from the council and they evidently stood up and spoke. The mayor evidently went up to the beginning of the meeting and addressed the crowd. And someone, after the meeting, someone accused the council of having an illegal meeting, and the court upheld that. So that was considered an illegal meeting. So basically, it used to be that if we had a meeting, if it wasn't our meeting and we went to it, it wasn't a big problem. But if there's 3 of us going to a meeting, we really shouldn't be speaking at the meeting about anything to do with council business. So that's just and it was sort of a difference, it was kind of a little bit of a shocker to the FOIA committee that the court ruled that way. The other one was a question about a school board over in Portsmouth, or I'm not sure exactly where, had a school board meeting, and they would not allow people into the meeting. If you wanted to go to the meeting, you had to go in the next room to see it, watch it on video. And the court ruled that was illegal. You had to provide physical space for somebody to meet. We don't have an issue with that, but I thought that was fairly interesting. All right. One of the other things that came up was an interesting talk about what they call place attachment, is what people feel about their town, and what makes people proud of their town or proud of their thing. And it turns out that 3 top things for people that have place attachment are something I didn't think about. But the first one is aesthetics. What the aesthetics, what their community looked like. That was the number one thing of people that have an attachment to a place. aesthetics. The number 2 was social offerings that the community has. And number 3 was openness and being and inclusiveness with the community. I thought that was fairly, so, there, I was thinking things, great schools, economic benefits, that these were the 3 top things, the consultant that did. Just an interesting thing. And I think Anancock certainly has, has a lot of those 3 things, and aesthetics we definitely have a lot of. So, it's worth doing, doing things like that. All right, I think that's about it for the mayor's report. Move on to town manager's report, I guess.
Give updates to what was provided in writing. The HRSD transition, I hope you have gone over to see the Jefferson Street project. It's one layer away from being complete, which basically means it's a really, really well-paved road with all of the appropriate water and sewer attachments underneath. The town plan, we retained Hill Studios to prepare a recommendation for us for 4 different areas. I'm not going to go through each, but they've just sent me a draft, like just sent me a draft of their final report. It's 70 pages long. I'm just scanning through it right now just to make sure there's nothing in there that's, not ours. And then I'll forward that to you folks tomorrow, probably by noon. The couple things that are in there are the street signs, the street lights, and the wayfinding signs. And if you remember, we agreed that we would buy 1 street sign, we would have it put up, and then everybody could opine on that. We would do the same thing with the wayfinding sign. Street lights aren't as simple as that, but we're going to work toward how we can see one. So you can see if that's the direction we want to go. I met with A&N about the street light, and it's a bit more of an engineering kerfuffle than I would have thought, but we're working through all of that. And Hill has an engineer that works with us through that, so it's not just me. But I have the street sign, and I'm waiting for VDOT to tell me that it's got the proper breakaways and things like that. The wayfinding sign is on the way. It has this main base, so we'll see how that goes. So you'll see those 2 things up as soon as sort of I can, get the approval and put them up. Yeah.
Any word on the entry sign, which I
have a
understood?
new design,
Okay.
and it's interesting.
Is that part of what we'll get tomorrow?
Oh,
good.
No, it's basically, if you remember the last design where it had the brick and then the bird overlay, and the birds were kind of cheesy. This one's got the same brick with the Anancock font, and then a like a brass or a copper heron on top. So I think we're getting closer.
Good.
Yeah.
So we will or will not see that tomorrow.
You will, it's a sketch with pencil, so you really can't see the,
Yeah.
But if you go over to the reason it's there is because I saw the stewards, herons in front over by their boathouse, and they're really gorgeous. So I snapped a picture of that and said, this kind of thing.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Is there,
After the first initial review of the residential street lights, did they take a second look at those?
Well, I went to the vendor who A&N suggested, and we found a light and extension arm and fixture that closely match what they drew, but they're not exact because, they were using a paintbrush, and these guys have one in their, warehouse. They also recommended the 2 poles for the gazebo. I'm not a designer. I'm gonna leave it at that. So, but all of those things are going to you tomorrow. Okay, and if I could get a decision on the gazebo lights, that would be wonderful.
is there anything about an informational sign coming? Did he say anything about an informational sign coming into town?
We're talking about that because that wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't on his list.
Right. Well, I mentioned it to him few weeks ago when we talked to him originally about it. Yeah.
originally, and I talked with him, I don't know, a couple days ago, Friday maybe.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, it's on his list, but it's not in the packet I'm gonna send you tomorrow.
All right, keep,
Okay, the website, I'm plotting my way through every single page being published, just updating data. There's some things that weren't working properly, just back of the house stuff, like how to add the videos from town council meetings into the website and things like that. So we're working through all of those, but it's coming along pretty well. Same thing with the app and map. They're going through and I made a list of all the places, and then the way it works is when you touch it, it brings you to that location and it shows you a picture of the front, then it shows you a sort of the Google Street View, and then it has any pictures that the owner wants to put in there in a little blurb. That's coming along, I think, really well. There's 10 little icons that you can click. So if I pick history and you know, arborists, I'll get all the historic trees from Ann Knox walking tour, and I'll get all of the trees that the tree board says are interesting. So that's the kind of thing. It's really coming along. Yeah,
I did have a question about the website.
sure.
To me, there would be some value in us getting to see it while it's being developed, because I'm a little concerned that it might come to us full blown and be more of a project if we asked for changes than if we'd gotten to see it as you're developing it. So I was gonna,
Developed.
okay,
So I'm just editing context.
Okay.
So, you know, the front page that you guys already approved,
right,
still the front page.
right.
Yeah, so all of the information, town council, whatnot, I'm just waiting for the photos that we had taken. That type of thing, you know, the police department, I'm updating telephone numbers and blah, blah, blah.
Will we have features like the ability for people to sign up for topics of interest? Things
Yeah,
like
we
that.
Also have the ability to sign up for service requests from the town or notifications from the town. It has all of the documents like the comp plan and the hill thing. It's already in there. So it's a much more robust and I think easier website.
are we, so we're gonna get a shot to look at it before it goes live. How long are we gonna have to look at it?
Have to look at it as long as you want,
And when is that gonna be?
as soon as I get through the rest of the pages.
So 2 weeks, 2 months,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay, all right. Okay,
Yeah, I'm almost done. I'm halfway
Okay.
through. You know, your stuff.
okay, yeah, keep going.
We put the bid for the generator for the police station out 2 weeks ago. Last Friday was the date. We awarded that bid today. So that's done, and that's paid for, if you remember, by the Department of Criminal Justice grant, and the generator is going to be outside, basically.
So they paid the whole cost of that? No match at all? Oh, great. Fantastic.
I got the final bid docs or bid drawings for the police department and welcome center. The IFB's been written for a few weeks now, so I'll put that to bid tomorrow. I think, hopefully you noticed that the gazebo's been, scraped and painted and the washed and the roof was treated. And then just, I know that this is the favorite topic of everyone. Tax time is here. We'll be producing the bills first week of November. They'll be due December 5th, like they're legally required to be due. Thank you.
Ray, let's go around. Let me,
Sorry, question.
I'm just gonna go around from start here. Let's.
Oh, okay.
Give everybody, Ray, any questions for Cindy?
I had a question about the matching grants for the business facades. We still have a number of applicants that were approved and have not submitted for the reimbursement, correct? Do you think we need to do a reminder of the final date by which they have to have completed the work?
We're
Good.
about halfway through when we issued the award letters in March.
But didn't we give them until the following year in March?
That is correct. They had 12 months, but we're like at a 6-month mark now where we can say, hey, you have 6 months left.
I think
Yeah,
it
that's
would
a
be a
good
good idea. One other
Go ahead,
question.
take your time.
The duck bill at the wharf, you said that the funds are likely to be reappropriated. Where are you thinking about reappropriating them?
It depends on whether, well, a lot of it depends on what that, what the bid comes back looking like for those two.
Mhm.
But also the stormwater management at the bottom, I would think that it's gonna be used to do some of the match for the King Street sidewalks. If we get that grant, we might need to go there, but
Gotcha. Okay.
You through? Yeah, Mavis? Sarah?
Couple of questions. The Holly Street drain work, I didn't see mentioned. Did I miss when you told us previously that that has been done?
no, because it hasn't been done.
Oops.
The reason it hasn't been done is VDOT was waiting until Jefferson is paved. Because we have a culvert underneath that road and we're gonna have to box out both of them, but they're gonna grade along, they're not gonna put drainage ditches in, but they're gonna grade along each side of the street to drain into that new culvert. And they didn't want to do that while it was getting paved.
Okay, so it's
I would say
maybe soon.
I saw a VDOT truck over there today. You know,
Thank you.
yeah,
And then one other, speaking of streetlights, the one at the corner of the southwest corner of the town square closest to Cokesbury.
Yeah.
Still hasn't gotten replaced, or else there's a short and the new bulb is going out again.
Anything else, Sarah?
Yeah.
Brandon? Okay. Financial report, Matt, I think, any questions or anybody have any questions for Matt about the financial report or anything you need to say about it?
no, I think that because we're still doing the billing for the sewer system and we're only paying wholesale, we're just continuing to increase our reserves month after month after month. So we're up 29% year over year. And last year we were in the same boat. So our reserves are looking really healthy. So that'll allow us to do things like the Hill Studio plan without dipping into any debt or anything like that.
I had a question about the gazebo planting. We removed the planting. So has Hill given us an idea about what we're going to plant around there? Or are we going to replant or that or not? I know we're going to put lights up, but have they?
Well,
Well, we'll see that in a.
yeah, the tree board is actually going to be the folks who select the plantings for that.
Right.
And we do have a model drawing of that area from Hill.
Do they have a landscape architect, don't they? Or not?
Yeah, and that's really what you'll see
Yeah,
there, but
okay.
as far as what plants go there, our tree board are going to take care of that.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt about the financial report? Okay.
Yeah, actually I do. The formatting things that we talked about last time, I didn't see.
The net change?
Yeah, it still says net change instead of net. And then the ARPA list is still not in order, not grouped by what's closed or deferred or whatever. That I could
That I
go.
didn't remember because they're in project number order and I don't necessarily care what order they're in, but you want the list of projects, do you want the closed at the top or the bottom?
Bottom.
Together.
Together?
Yeah. That makes sense.
You said bottom, Fletcher?
That makes sense to me. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
well, that's fine.
Keep the open ones in front of us. Yeah. Okay. Any other financial questions? All right. Town council comments, Brandon?
Gazebo looks great. That was a great job of moving on something and getting something done with minimal disturbance to the area as well. So thank you.
Sarah?
Couple of things coming up. Friday night at 7:30 at Market Street Church, the Orchestra of the Eastern Shore will be playing. Saturday afternoon, there will be the Great Pumpkin Carve at the Town Square. 12 o'clock?
12 to 4.
12 to 4. Pre-scooping of pumpkins Friday evening so that they're all ready to carve. And then also this weekend is the expected King Tide. And if it's more than whatever day it was last week, we're in for it. But there is a project done in association with VIMS and an organization in Tidewater called Wetlands Watch that is called Catch the King, that has an app that you can put on your phone, go to where water is or isn't, and record it and contribute in this crowdsourced data collection project. So just to wetlandswatch.org is probably the easiest place to find that. So those are my things. Thank you. Oh, sorry, one more. We have had one more facade grant submit their reimbursement and be reimbursed after a little glitch. And so we're chipping away, but Cindy, you're right that we need to follow up with the ones who have not come through.
Mavis?
No comment.
Cindy?
I just want to say that I'm pleased that Thelma talked about the playground and that you're happy with it. And hopefully whatever's the mulch problem is, we can work on that too.
Thank you.
Right?
Looking forward to Halloween trick or treating Tuesday. 5 to 8.
There's a curfew at 8 o'clock, correct? Town curfew at 8 o'clock, yeah. That's right, okay. All right, thank you for the comments. Closed session, none scheduled. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.